Everybody into your hard decks. We're going to do some video here on radius stairs on decks. They're not going to be simple, but it's not overly difficult if you take your time and get a good plan on it. So what we got going on here is we got a set of stairs going to go up here and go up to that second floor deck. It's going to be a radius. So I figured up my radius ahead of time, and I'm going to run with an 8-foot inside radius. Stairs are going to be 4.5 feet wide, so we can get up there. So first of all, get your height coming down the side. So I measured down to the concrete, and it plumbed over or leveled over here, and it falls off about 1 3/4 inches this way. So you make sure you add, it's got your height over there, and then you got to add whatever the fall is here, so you get the correct rise as it goes all the way up. It's not the rise from there, it's the rise from where they stop. So that ends up being 121 inches, 16 rise, 7 9/16 is going to be our rise. So I'm going to run with an 8-foot inside radius, like I said. So if you guys don't have one of these, you're going to do stuff like this, you're going to want to get a construction master. Just makes your life easier. Put the foster grants on so the old guy can see. So you got to run. So I have a 16-foot diameter circle, right? So that's your circle. It's your diameter area. So I have a 50-foot full circle. That's the whole circumference. And I'm going to do a 1/4 radius. So I'm going to divide that by 4. That gives me 12 foot. I'll get the feet and inches for you guys. How about that? 16 feet is the circle. Press it again, gives you your area, of course. There's a circumference that goes all the way around, so there's 50 feet. We're going to divide that by 4. So I have 12 foot 6 and 13/16 is going to be my inside radius, okay? So we'll write that down so we don't forget, which is 12 foot 6 and 13/16. Just do yourself a little drawing and stuff like that so you know what's going on. So I'm going to mark out my radiuses, and I'll show you how to put the pies on there so it's exactly symmetrical all the way around. So I got a handrail that's going to be up here. We got a 6x6 also going up above. This is our temporary scaffolding because we got to build a Juliet balcony up above. So we got stacked beams going up there. So we had a layout where my railings are going to hit upstairs and then pull back. And then I got my 8-foot radius. We got concrete here. So I just put a little hammer drill in a little screw like that. Okay. And that's what we're going to hook and pull our radius. So we already got the inside radius put in. I just put that 8-footer down. I'll show you where I'm going to put the rest of it. So we're going to square this up real quick. So I got 8 feet. It's going to be the rise. And I pull from here to here. So I've got 141 inch 5/8 is the run. So square it up 14 3 1/8 is going to be my square point off of here, so I know where to start. Nip or Mitch, you want to give me an assistance quick? You can make the video here, Chief. Right into the corner of the 6x6. Oh, there. Yep, that corner. 14 3 1/8. So right here, 14 3 1/8. So now I know I'm perfectly 90 degrees with our deck starting right there. Okay. Yeah, give me a foot. Give me a foot right here. Mitch, give me a finger right on the ground there. Okay, so that's where our 90 degrees is with our deck. We're going to do exactly a quarter radius of a full circle, which makes it easy for calculating. So now we're going to be at what did I say here? 48. And I want to be 2 inches. So I'm going to frame this thing at 48 inches. All right, so you can see where I have the 8-foot. Start there, and you just got to bend down and burn your pencil up. Don't worry, all this comes off in the little bit of washing. All right, as you can see, that is going to be the frame of the boxes. And then I'm going to take 1/2-inch plywood and I'm going to wrap this around with 4 plies on each side. So that'll make it an overall 4 inches bigger of framing. We'll show that in the later videos here. So, as we were talking here earlier, so you got a 16-foot, I want to try this, 16 feet's my circle. Okay. So there's our total circumference divided by 4 equals 12 foot 6 3/16. That number is what this inside radius is all the way around till that hits the deck, okay? So I got 16 rise on this deck, so we're gonna have 15 treads on this. So now I can take that inside circumference divided by 15 treads equals 10 1/16. So on the inside, 10 1/16 all the way around is gonna give me equal number of starting on the inside of the treads. All right, so I'm going to go and lay them out quick. You can do this with a string if you need to be super precise, but on this sort of radius, when it's this big and you're only going 10 inches at a time, it works out where you can do it, you know, just straighten it off. So we're going to be 10 1/16. You just take your tape and just walk it around like this. Just want to kind of try and stay with the arc. And when you get to the end, you have 10 1/16, which is right here. So I got about an 1/8 inch off on all that. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Now the way you make all your pies equal, it's nice to have somebody help you like the kid here. So you take your string and you put it right down where your center point is. Okay? Come right over here, Chief. And you're going to string through each one of these, putting about 2 inches on the outside of that. Just put your finger down on it. It's 2 inches. Yep. So you string right through it. Okay? You're going to do that every time, all the way around, and that's going to give you a perfect pies every time around. So when you cut all your treads, your boxes, I should say, they're all going to be the same, going all the way up, and every one will be the same. So it'll make your life a lot easier. Okay? Chalking her up nice. Don't worry, all this stuff comes off in the wash. right, so as you can see, all them bad boys are perfect size. So when you check over here, 15, 15, 15. So everything's perfect, okay? So the next step's gonna be, obviously, we're gonna build our boxes. So once again, to recap, make sure you get your height coming down and level over to where your stairs are gonna start. In this instance, the concrete falls off about 1 3/4 inches this way for drainage. So you gotta add that number to your overall rise going up. If you're doing this out in the yard and you don't have luxury of having a concrete to do it on, just get some plywood, tack it down where you're going to be, and just run some stakes in there so it stays there. And you can lay the same thing out if you're out in the yard or something like that. And this is how you'll get started, and that's how you figure how them stairs go. Next step's going to be, we're going to build all the boxes, and we're going to start walking them on down. So we'll show you that here in the next video. So first of all, I built myself a story pole right up here. Got my rise all set up right here. This helps you out as you're building everything. You can take your level and level out to each one of your treads. Make sure it's right on, or you can get your laser when it goes out farther. You can zero out your laser every time and get the height right on as you're coming around. I built one box, got it started here. We're gonna come around and just work our way right on back down, following our pattern on the ground. So I'll show you here while we're building them. According to the layout on the ground, they're all the same. So when you snap it out and lay it, they're all the same. You can cut all your parts all at one time, put them all together. Oh shit. So the back of every one, we're using 2x8 here. And I got this one set across, so this is 48. And we got the side pieces. This is like a 4 degree, so you can get that little bit of a bend when you come across. And the front's gonna be 3/4 plywood, which I have all pre-cut here. I cut them at 15 inches. So the next one, the bottom of the next tread will sit right at the bottom, and you'll snap your line across the top. So you know right where your rise is perfect at 7 7/16 or whatever your rise may be. So you'll put it all together. And I snap lines on this here, so the jig, so everything's just right. Got lines on and held everything right to it. So all the boxes are all the same. So when it goes together, it should go together correctly. Okay, as you can see there, you set it right to your lines as you scribed them. All right, so you can tell that all the boxes are all the same. You can nail down something across there to set it up against. Try and pick out some good plywood if you're going to build this stuff, because as you know, plywood doesn't stay the straightest. Okay, so you're going to hold that, get your template right where it goes. I scribe the inside of this so I don't have to look over every time. Front edge is going to be right on your marks, correct? Plywood is flush. And as you can see, if you look down the inside, so everything's nice and tight and straight here. So this is the front of the riser every time. And the back is right on that pencil line. I scribed the back side of it so you can see the sides are right on. And then of course I put flat blocking here on each side because we return our treads. And I'll put some center supports in here also. And then when we are done, I'll show you with snap alignment, come down our rise, which is 7 9/16 on this one. Snap your line all the way across, which I have one on there. And when you take this box up, it'll screw right to the next one. You can work your way down. Use your story pole to get everything nice and level, and it'll follow it all the way back around. So just a little tips. Like I said, we snapped our line here, but I take like a block, a temporary block, and just screw it to here. So when you're hanging them when they're lower like this, you can just take it and slam it up to it and hit it. So I just put the temporary blocks up here. So when you're over here, hanging these two guys over here, you just tack a couple of temp blocks up here. So when you slam up the next one, you can just bump up to it. You know you're at the proper height. Okay, then as you see, I cut the plywood so it's supposed to turn out perfectly flush with a 2x8. I went like 7 3/8 to give it. So if you ever want to finish these off real nice, everything's nice and flush. You screw from the back side on the next one's coming down. All right. And then we made our story pole over there so we could shoot right off of these with your level or the laser, whichever you need to use. And then you just got to brace these things up as you work your way around. All right. And these will all come out obviously later. So let's set this side first. So we went right over here to our story pole. You can see right here. It's our story pole. We're right on. And coming right here, dead center tread, we are perfectly level. And then we're going to check it across here. And that is perfectly level too. So we're just going to go in and put us a little support here so everything doesn't move. Okay, and that's that. And you just repeat the process and work your way all the way down. Once we get to the next one, we'll support the next one on the inside. We'll do about every other one on the inside because it's such a small turn. So just repeat the process going all the way down. And you got your lines. You can double check up and down with the plumb bob, or if you got an 8-foot whiskey stick or long straight edge, make sure you're staying with your radius. But everything should be laid out as long as you start correctly. Everything will come right out and land where you want it to. Okay, Andy, our deck's going to show you the reason behind this story pole, make your life a little easier. So I did the story pole here as I showed you earlier. Laid out the rise all the way down, so when you're bringing your stairs around, you can just set the whiskey stick on here, get the level, and come out to every one of your marks so you can get that right on so you know all your rise, because the ground's all uneven and everything else. Otherwise, you can take the laser, zero it out every time when you go around, and you can bring your laser over, you know, if you're farther away than what the level will reach. So, yep, so if you look here, dead nuts all the way across. And then you come over here and just take the 4-footer and you'll level across here. And then you can always take your laser and set and check both sides. But so now we're going to pry this side up and we'll get her right on the money. Keep going. All right, that's it. Okay, everybody, into your hard deck's going to show you, after we got all the stairs framed and such, how you put your stringers together. So we're going to bend some 1/2-inch plywood to go up and around this to give it all the strength. We're going to do 4 layers up each side. So you can start out, typical stairs are 35 to 37 degrees. So I put a 37 degree on that upper one. Fits right on. Lower one's ready. Take our subfloor adhesive. Got to get the exterior stuff. that's made for outdoors. Make sure you put all that on there. Get your clamps and stuff ready. We're lucky because we're building a deck next to this. We can take our braces. Get that out of there, Chief. Since we're building right next to it, we can do stuff like this. So. Okay. If you're in the yard and you don't have access to posts that you can lean against, you're probably going to want to drive some stakes in the ground. That's because this awful helps a lot. So I ripped some 1/2-inch plywood at 16 inches. Okay. And then you're going to have a guy help you go on the other side and run the clamps. But basically you're going to go down this and you're going to ply this 4 times. And you're going to want to lap your plies every time, half at least. And that'll give it all its strength, and then we'll trim it all out in the stringers. All right, this is what it looks like when everything's done framed and you're getting ready to put your joist tape on. Just doing little finishing touches. Now it's very important that you put joist tape on this, especially end grains. You got plywood exposed, you're gonna want all that put on. And of course, here's the mop boards they get put on, very similar to the 1/2-inch plywood that wraps around. This is AZAC, cut out of 4x8 sheets at 16 inches. So you can get that wrapped around there. And this was cut out with a router on this one, not the Sawzall. So you get a nice, better finished product there with a flush trim bit on a router. And of course the riser's on the same way as you do on a normal set of stairs. Get everything ready to go. Make sure you get all your joist tape on, and that's very important because you got a lot of end grain showing. And here we are getting ready to start the treads. So get them started. Obviously, you're going to start the outsides first, and you'll fill in the centers. If you take your time and you build all this correctly in the framing, you'll find that all your inside pieces will flip-flop, and you can do the next tread up. And all your sizes should be very similar, so it's much more easy to cut on the miter box. It's a lot of work, though. So get everything filled in, heading towards the top. And I'm getting started, ready to start the railings. So you got to remember, on the radius stairs, your inside curve is much sharper than your outside. So your short sections of railing, as they turn up on the inside, will be less than the outside piece. So make sure you pay attention to that. Your posts won't be exactly lined up straight across. Otherwise, you'll cut off too much of your stairs. We use straight sections on these instead of getting a custom built curved. So you can just walk it all the way up and around with your straight sections. Gives the illusion of that it's still curved, but we use the same railings. These are Westbury on this Riviera series, so we wanted everything to match and look the same. So we went with the straight sections. Just make sure you take your time and get the layout correct. We used the swivel brackets. They double swivel on these. It makes it much easier to get your
railings that roll around all those corners so it looks like they roll on a curve. This being the Riviera series, it had 2 sets on the tops and bottoms, so they take a little extra time. Then we got it, our supports there just in the middle, just to take a little bit of bounce out of it, but those stairs will stand by themselves if you put more plies on there, but we just wanted to put a section just in the middle just to make them very rigid. All right, we're getting ready to wrap these bad boys up. So we'll give you some pictures here at the end and show you guys what it looks like. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next one.